This is 3.6 day 1. So these first 4 problems, we're just dividing by a monomial, a single term. So we can just straight up divide. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. X to the 4th over x to the 3rd is x. Okay, negative 2 over 7 doesn't simplify, so we'll keep that as negative 2 over 7. Then x to the 5th over x squared is x to the 3rd. Okay, so on the top here, now I have two terms, a binomial. So I'm going to divide both of these terms here. So 5 over 3 doesn't simplify. X to the 3rd over x is just an x. Okay, and then x squared over x squared cancels, and that would be 1/3. Okay, dividing here, 7 over 6 does not simplify. X to the 8th over x squared would be x to the 6th. 6 divided by 6 is 1, and x to the 3rd over x squared is 1x. Okay, so that's up through 8. With number 10, we want to show that there is a 0 between 2 and 3. So we're going to find p of 2. Okay, so when we plug in a 2 here, okay, p of 2, that equals 3. And if I plug in a 3, okay, I'll show all the work on this first one. Okay, so I plug that in, I get negative 16. So this kind of shows us that on our graph at 2, 3 would be a point, so 2, 3, and also 3, negative 16 would also be a point. So I know that there has to be a 0 somewhere between those 2 points. That kind of shows that. And then it says to use Desmos, or a graphing calculator, to estimate the 0. Okay, and that 0, if you graph this in Desmos and find this 0 right here, it'd be x is equal to around 2.24 to the nearest 100th place. Okay, number 12. If I find p of 1/2 and p of 1, okay, if I plug that 1/2 in there, I get negative 1.875. And if I plug a 1 into the p of x function that's given to you there, I get 6. So in this graph, okay, so if this is 1, it'd be at 6, and at 1/2 it'd be at negative 1 point something. So somewhere between there has to be a 0. And on Desmos, if you type it in, you'll get an x-intercept at 0.67. 14, we want to see between 0.3 and 1. So when you f of 0.3 was 0.6001, and f of 1 came up to be negative 3. So by looking at that graph, I know at 1, negative 3. Okay, and then at 0.3, 0.6. So I know between there that it has to cross and have an x-intercept there. So on Desmos, you can estimate what that is, and it comes up to be about 0.52. Okay. Number 21, we want to start using our long division. Okay, number 21, we start off by thinking what times x is x to the 3rd, and we say x squared. So we take x squared times that x plus 5 here, gives us x to the 3rd plus 5x squared. And then we want to subtract it, so we're going to draw the line and change the signs. Those cancel. 2 minus 5 would be negative 3x squared, and bring down the next term. Okay, it's the whole cycle over again. What times x is negative 3x squared? Negative 3x. So take that negative 3x times the x plus 5. Gives me negative 3x squared minus 15x. Once again, I want to subtract, draw the line, change the signs. Those cancel. That gives me negative 2x. Bring down the next term. Whole cycle over again. What times x is negative 2x? Negative 2. Multiply that, gives you negative 2x minus 10. And when I subtract, I get 0 remainder. So we have our answer right here. Okay, number 22. What times x is 4x to the 4th? It'd be x to the 3rd. And multiplying that gives you x to the 4th plus 4x to the 3rd. And when we draw the line, change our signs, they both cancel. So here's our next term, or terms. Okay, whole thing over again. What times x is 2x squared? Okay, 2x. So 2x times the x plus 4 gives me 2x squared plus 8x. Draw a line, change the signs to subtract, cancels, and that gives you 1x. Bring down your next term. What times x is x? 1. 1 times that x plus 4 is x plus 4. And when I draw a line and switch the signs, I get 0 remainder. So we have this answer right here. Here's number 23. So what times x is 3x to the 3rd? It'd be 3x squared. Multiply it by the x minus 5. Gives me 3x to the 3rd minus 15x squared. And I want to draw the line, change the signs to subtract. Those cancel, that gives me 4x squared. Okay, what times x is 4x squared? 4x. Gives me 4x squared minus 20x. Draw a line, change the signs, those cancel, those are canceled. Next term is just a 3. Does anything times x equal 3? Nope. So that's our remainder. So we have plus 3 over the x minus 5. Okay, so there's our solution. Number 24. What times x is x to the 4th? X to the 3rd. And multiply it there, gives me x to the 4th minus 3x to the 3rd. Draw the line, change your signs to subtract, cancel and cancel. So our next term is this one to use. What times x is negative 5x squared? Negative 5x. Gives you negative 5x squared plus 15x. And we will draw the line, change those signs there. Those cancel, that gives me negative 13x. What times x is negative 13x? Negative 13. Gives me negative 13x plus 39. Draw the line, change your signs. And that would be what? Negative 55. And nothing times x will give you negative 55, so that's our remainder, negative 55 over our x minus 3. Number 25, what times x is x to the 4th? X to the 3rd. Multiplied through gives you x to the 4th minus 2x to the 3rd. And subtract makes that negative x to the 3rd. What times x is negative x to the 3rd? So it'd be negative x squared. So that's negative x to the 3rd plus 2x squared. And draw a line, change your signs to subtract. Bring down the next term. What times x is negative 6x? So negative 6x, x squared. Gives you negative 6x squared plus 12x. Draw a line, change your signs. We're left with 0 and 0 remainder. Okay, so this is our solution right there. Number 26. What times x is 2x squared to the 4th? It'd be 2x to the 3rd. Multiplied through is 2x to the 4th minus 4x to the 3rd. And draw the line, change your signs to subtract. They cancel. That'd be 7x to the third. Bring down your next term. What times x is 7x to the third? 7x squared. Gives you 7x to the third minus 14x squared. And we're going to draw our line and change our signs. Those cancel. That would be, what, 9x squared? What times x is 9x squared? 9x. So it gives me 9x squared minus 18x. This is another nice one where draw a line, change your signs. We have 0 remainder. So that is your answer right there. Okay, number 27, we're switching to synthetic division. We're dividing by x minus 1. So if you remember, you set that equal to 0, you get a solution or a 0 or whatever of 1. Okay, so that's what goes out front here. And remember, we don't have any x's here in number 27, right? So number 27 here, we gotta go to x to the third, we go x squared, but there's no x's, so 0x. So we have to put that placeholder in there for that 0. Okay, so then we use a synthetic division method. We bring this 1 down. 1 times 1 is 1, and we add those together. 1 times 3 is 3, add those together. 1 times 3 is 3, add those together. Okay, now our original problem, number 27, was an x to the third, and we're dividing it by an x. So x to the third divided by x is x squared. So our first term here would be 1x squared plus 3x plus 3. That is my solution. Okay, 28, once again, it doesn't have an x term there, so make sure you put a 0. What we're dividing out is x minus 3, so that's a positive 3 there. Okay, bring this 1 down. 1 times 3 is 3, add those together. 3 times 1 is 3, add those together. 3 times 3 is 9, add those together. So you can also think of it this way. So it was an x to the third divided by an x, which is an x squared. You can also think this is the remainder. That's the number to the first, x to the first, x to the second. You can also think of it that way. So this would be x squared plus 1x plus 3. Number 29, be careful there. There is no, there's an x to the third, but there's no x squared. So it would be 0x squared, and then minus 1x, and then minus 2. Okay, so make sure you have that placeholder there. Okay, so we bring down the negative 2. That times that is 2, add them together. That times that is negative 2, add them together. That times that is 3, and add them together. Okay, so my original was x to the third over an x, which is an x squared. So we have negative 2x squared plus 2x minus 3. And then we have a positive 1 as our remainder over our divisor was x plus 1. Okay, so we're dividing by x plus 1 there. Okay, this one here, bring the first one down. That times that is 3, add them together. That times that's negative 3, add them together. That times that is 4, and add them together. So our answer is negative 3x squared plus 3x minus 4, and our remainder is negative 1 over x plus 1. Okay, with number 31, we have x to the fifth minus 1 divided by x minus 1. So remember all these placeholders. So we have 1x to the fifth, 0x to the fourth, 0x to the third, 0x squared, 0 x's, and then minus 1. Okay, and x minus 1, we put a 1 there. Okay, so we bring this down. 1 times 1 is 1, add them together. 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 Okay, so we have 0 remainders here. So if we have x to the fifth over x, that gives me an x to the fourth equation. So we're going to have 1x to the fourth plus 1x to the third plus 1x squared plus 1x plus 1. So that means that this times x minus 1 is equal to that. Okay. 32, once again, x to the seventh, we got a bunch of zeros here. 1x to the 7th, 0x to the 6th, to the 5, to the 4, to the 3, to the 2, to the 1, and then 1, dividing by there. So that times that is -1, add them together. That times that is 1, add them together. That times that's -1, add them together. That times that is 1, add them together. That times that's -1, add them together. That times that is 1, add them together. That times that's -1, add them together. So my solution, x to the 7th over x, would be x to the 6th, so 1x to the 6th, minus 1x to the 5th, plus 1x to the 4th. You can put a 1 there, it's okay. Okay. Negative 1x to the 3rd, plus 1x squared, minus 1x, plus 1. There is our solution. So if I take x plus 1, multiply times all this, I'll get that answer right there. Okay, that's the end of day 1 homework.